Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of the NexGen Show, the voice for the youth. I'm your host, Karagania Mwamlole, alone again today. Faisal was unable to come. He's not making it a habit, don't worry. He'll be here next episode, inshallah. 1 week, 7 days. 5th November is the big day for all our younger brothers and sisters doing their Form 4 KCSE exam. And we wanted to talk about how to prepare during that 1 week, how we can prepare both spiritually, academically, and we have an older sister here who will give us guidance on how she managed to pass through this turbulent time of exams. And of course, the main man in the show, who I will introduce him in a moment, the candidate himself. Right now, before we even get started, may Allah make his exams easy and all the exams easy. Let's get that dua out of the way. Bismillah. Now, we have an amazing panel today, and inshallah, we're going to talk about how to prepare, what you can do to prepare, how important are the exams, you know, what comes next, etc., 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 and hear from the candidate himself on what is difficult for him. Now, to introduce the panel, on my extreme right is a teacher, Mwalimu Harun Murenga. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Can you tell us something small about yourself? Which school do you teach? What subjects do you teach?
I'm a teacher at Alameen Academy in Juja Road. It's a private school. Personally, I'm a graduate from Mo University.
MashaAllah.
Graduated way back in 2015.
MashaAllah.
Working in a Muslim school, teaching Muslim children. And that's something I'm
What
proud
subject
of.
do you teach?
At school, I teach mathematics. I also teach Deen, IRE.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Fantastic. Fantastic. He's going to be giving us some tips. Next to him is a man who needs absolutely zero introduction. In fact, I'm not even going to say anything. Just Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Abu Najma.
Alaikum salam.
Welcome to the program again.
MashaAllah, Allah yubarik.
I know this is important for you. Why is just very, in 30 seconds, why is examination preparation so important for you?
Because it's going to determine the future of the Muslim youths in this country. We know very well that right now, leave alone studying dunya, but even deen. You can't go to Medina University, Azhar, you can't go to Sudan, Khartoum, International University of Africa, or any other university without having the KCSE certificate.
So both deen and dunya need.
Yeah, you must have both certificates right now to study deen.
Okay, inshallah, we will be hearing from Sheikh. Today he has a mic. I don't know if you're going to drop something or not. Inshallah. To my left, I'll save the lady for last. Actually, today I'm going to do something different because our candidate is a special person in the program. I am going to save him for last and start on my extreme left with the sister among us here. Now, you might not know this, but Mwanamkasi Juma is a telecommunications engineer. Not even a fresh graduate. She graduated many years ago, mashallah. Mwanamkasi, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Welcome to the NexGen Show.
Thank you.
I've already called you an engineer, but
Yes.
maybe you can tell us what else you do. Because I know you're not limited to that.
Yeah, I'll start with the fact that I graduated last year.
Okay.
So it's not many years ago. I'm an electrical and telecommunication engineer by profession. I also do branding and marketing strategies, running my own brand called Taraza brand.
MashaAllah, welcome.
Shukran.
She's going to be giving us a perspective as well, a sister's perspective and also a younger perspective than Sheikh Abu Najma, who, mashallah, is almost 60 now, Sheikh. Astaghfirullah, he's not. And then, to my immediate left, the man of the hour, alhamdulillah, Brother Ahmed Abubakar. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to the NexGen Show.
Thank you very much.
Can you say something short about yourself? What year? I will know what year you're in, but school. What do you want to be when you finish? Just something short, just so the crowd and the audience at home knows you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa salatu wa salam ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. First, to start with, my name is Ahmed Abubakar from Isli High School, a very multicultural school, a very diverse school, existing Christians, many religions studying together, a very respected school. Of course, I studied in that school. I would like to be a doctor and take medicine in my, inshallah, university. And that's it.
May Allah make it possible for you.
And
You noticed how he spoke about the school. Are you a brand ambassador? Are you a marketer for the school? You know, multicultural, diverse, a very good school. MashaAllah, no, it's good. It's good. It's a good school. MashaAllah. Very good school. May Allah make it easy for you. Sheikh, let's begin officially the program now and talk about some of the topics that we're doing. And let's put an interesting twist on this. Islamically, when was the first exam that we know of that?
Yeah, the first exam, the first person to sit for exams, the first human being was Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. And the teacher was Allah. Allama al-insana ma lam ya'lam. Wa allama Adam al-asma'a kullaha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Adam the whole syllabus. And this is maybe where the problem will find out that some teachers have not completed the syllabus.
Yes.
You know, and also, as a student, if you completed the syllabus, then you're going to pass. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He completed the syllabus. Allama Adam al-asma kullaha. Allah did not say nisfuha, half, rubu'uha, a quarter, no. Kullaha. So Adam was the first one to sit for exams. And then you know something interesting here, in the exams of Adam and Malaika, you know, a very famous story in the Quran. The Malaika, they didn't study the syllabus. And they were not there in class. And they had no idea of what Adam was studying. So when they were told, Ambi'uni bi asma'iha ulai, you know, name the following things. During exams, give me the names of the following things. They were not able to answer. The Malaika, they said, La ilma lana, we don't have knowledge. Why? Because they didn't cover the syllabus. So Adam, Ambi'uhum, Adam was told, tell them. So he told them the names of everything. This was teaching in the classroom. The second one who did practical was Nabi Musa alayhi salatu wasalam with the magicians. This was practical. You started practical, Yeah, so Musa did practical and so many examples in the Quran. This was just...
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know, I never really thought about it that way, but that is absolutely correct. You know, we already have done exams, and I'm actually going to go, Sheikh, and put you on the spot. When did you sit for your... Was it even KCP at the
KCP.
time? Or it was something...
No, we came after CPE. So me, I did mine KCP 1990.
1990. MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
If you know, I tell students I did my KCP 19, they go like... It's like they freeze that, like that was long time ago.
Yes, I think some of us here weren't even born.
I'm telling you,
even Malimu, I know, is saying, okay. When did you do yours, Malimu?
I did my KCP in 2003. Did my KCS in 2007.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Mwanamkasi.
Okay, my KCP 2007, KCSE 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm very similar to yours. In fact, we're talking of the exact same. I wasn't in Kenya, but the equivalent of primary school, 2003, and then secondary school equivalent to here, 2007 as well. Yeah, so we have a lot to guide you.
But there's no white.
There's no
Yeah.
There's no white.
it's off camera. It's all behind here, inshallah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Ahmed, I want to start with you because we're going to talk about how to. We have about a week from the time of this is airing and everybody's watching at home. We have about a week before exams, but before we get to that, what are some of the challenges that you feel you face right now, or not only you because you're here, but you're representing all the hundreds and thousands of students at home who may be watching, all the other candidates. What are some of the challenges that you guys face when it comes to preparing for exams?
Of course, there are many challenges which we as students face in our learning situation. First of all, in the class and when the teachers are teaching, there is a good number of people. Let me just say good because it's just good. But I think this may be an issue which maybe the government should have dealt with or should deal with, that there's a big number of students and small teachers. So the ratio of teachers to students is low. And that's one of the biggest problems in Kenya, I would say, maybe, because of course there are some teachers, mostly mathematics, chemistry, physics, mathematics, biology, and of course chemistry. They are very much scarcity there. So that also bring about the failure in those subjects. And from the student side, there's this laziness of waiting until the exam time.
The last minute.
Yeah, and that is the time now they go for the books. They run here and there, collecting their resources and reading them, which is very, sincerely speaking, which is very, very bad. Last minute preparation, although can save a man, but of course it's not a good idea to do the revision, to do the studies at that point. Last minute.
If I can ask you there, when did you start preparing for your exams?
Of course, the day I was admitted in the school, that was the first time. Of course, something happened there when I was in, and I enrolled in that school. Of course, in the beginning, I never knew the syllabus. You know, if you take the chemistry book, for example, it's around 118 pages, 118 to 120 pages, which maybe if you will take your time, you can only take within 10 to 15 days to complete the whole book, reading through and maybe understanding the content itself. But I think majorly is from the student side. Now that you know, you wait for the teachers to do things for you, and that is very seriously.
So students aren't taking enough initiative.
Okay.
I want to just, because we will need to go for a break very soon, but Mwalimu Harun, if I can, he mentioned that basically, so this is from the whole year you've been preparing for the exams. You know you're in Form 4, you have to be ready.
Of course.
When is a good time to start preparing? All students may not be like Ahmed. You know, when should they really go into their books and really, you know, go through their notes?
Okay, immediately a student is enrolled in school.
In Form 1.
Syllabus coverage starts taking place. At the end, in our system, today in our 844 system that's currently running in Kenya, you know that at the end of the day, at the end of the 4 years, you will be gauged on what you studied in the 4 years.
From 1 to
so
2,
preparation for exams, which curriculum is exam oriented, the preparation should start from Form 1. And I think your teachers gave you exams from Form 1 at the end of every term. They gave you exams. That is preparation for the final exam. So for any student in any particular school, either primary school or secondary school, it should always be in preparation for the exams, which comes at the end of the 8 years for primary and 4 years for secondary.
Sheikh, before I bring you in, Mwanamkasi, he mentioned, you know, about, Mwalimu mentioned, I'm just going to, for sake of short names, that's Mwalimu, this is Sheikh, this is candidate, and that's engineer. Engineer, for the sake of I mean, in university, was it the same? He mentioned how the exams, you're tested from something you learned on your first year in secondary school. This is in high school, in secondary school. Is it the same in university, where you're tested on something you learned in first year when you're doing 5th year, or do you just build on that knowledge and you're really only tested on what you're doing in your final year?
It depends with the course that you're taking, most importantly. In engineering, if not directly, but in an indirect way, you're tested from what you studied from the first year. Because it's the same knowledge. You calculate from the first principle. So when you're in 3rd year and it's a different law, either way you have to figure out how did it start from the first principle, then we work towards it. Because it's a better way of understanding things, and you don't have to cram. So when you understand something from the first principle, it makes it easier in the long run. So if you're in the 5th year and you need to calculate whether it's audio or something else, you would understand like which basic knowledge do I need.
So we're all in agreement that you need to have learned everything you need to be ready from the time you enter secondary. Let's talk to the people at home who are not ready at all right now. They have 1 week to go. And we want to give them, and even the mashallah, the brothers who are ready, you're ready inshallah, yeah? Inshallah. The brothers who are ready, what we can do in the time remaining, the 1 week remaining, before Monday comes along. But we will do that after this very, 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 very short break. Don't go anywhere, inshallah. Stay on the NexGen Show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the NexGen Show. Before the break, we were talking about exams in general. We heard a bit from our brother, the candidate, and some of the challenges they face. Teachers to student ratio is a problem, which is something we'll talk about a little later. Students taking that initiative. But right now, what we want to do is talk about what we can do in the time we have remaining. There's 1 week for our brothers and sisters to prepare for exams. And Sheikh, let me start with you, perhaps from the Islamic spiritual side. What can we do to ensure that we are ready for exams?
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah. Number one, Allah says in the Quran, La tay'asu min rawhillah. Don't lose hope. No, don't lose hope. Don't give up. Innahu la ya'asu min rawhillah ila al-qawm al-kafirun. That those people who give up hope, they are the non-believers. So, number one, the student should not, whether you studied or not, you can start now. And tawakkal Allah, trust in Allah. And number two is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave us, guidance on how to succeed, especially the last minute. He said, "Innamal a'malu bil khawatim." It doesn't matter what you did in the past, but right now, al-amal bil khawatim. What you are reading right now. You trust in Allah. You do your best. Maybe some of the things which you could study, within these last hours, they might come. So we look at the actions in the end as Muslims, not. Al-khawatim, the end is what really matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are there any du'as, specific du'as we can make? Any surahs that are encouraged? Any dhikr that we can do to ease stress, because I'm sure it is stressful. You can see Ahmed is even now he's going to close up.
Yeah, that's very important. You see, let me speak on spiritual side, and very quickly. Before Allah sent Nabi Musa, he had to remove the fear out of his heart, because Allah knew that Nabi Musa was going to stand in front of Fir'aun. He was going to be a leader. He's going to sit that practical exam with the sorcerers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he told Nabi Musa throw the stick, and he turned into a snake. And Allah knows very well that human beings and snakes do not coexist there. So one had to run away. So Musa, he ran away. But Allah told him, Aqbil, you face it. Wala takhaf, and don't be sad, don't be afraid. So Musa came back, and the snake was still moving, and Musa grabbed it. The biggest enemy of us human beings is that fear. We are always fearful and afraid. And the best advice I can give the Muslims, the listeners right now, is remove that fear. You see, Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, imagine 6 times in a day, in 24 hours, the Prophet used to seek Allah's refuge from fear and cowardice. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-jubni. Jubni is being a coward. You're shaking. That apprehension, you are like,
butterflies in the heart, all over the place. You'll be fine.
This is not the time. Just have confidence. Like Musa said, Inna la mudrakun. The Bani Israel, they said, it's over. We've been caught. I'm waiting for that D. For that 140. Musa said, Kalla, no. Inna ma'iya Rabbi. So Allah is with us. Inna ma'iya Rabbi. Sayhadeen. So Allah will always guide you through exam, through your life. So trust in Allah, depend on Allah, and inshallah Allah will make you sail through.
Okay. Mwalimu, what advice do you, when preparing students for exams, and you have 1 week left, what are you telling them? What are you doing in class? Are you still in class, or classes have sort of ended to give you time to study?
We are now out.
They're out.
Or
Okay.
off.
Or study leave or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you tell them before they go, and how should they prepare in this 1 week remaining, both for those who are ready and for those who feel, hey, these things have come too soon, I'm not ready yet?
Okay, with 1 week remaining, what we do most is to give the children hope, the students, that whichever grade that you're going to get, as a Muslim, you know, we believe in qadar, that whichever grade you're going to get, and your life is already planned, whichever grade you're going to get, it may lead you into something as long as you're positive about it. And during this last period, the last moments towards the exam, this is the time now to go through your summaries, to brush through whatever you've already learned.
Yes.
As a candidate, as a Form 4 candidate, you know topics that you cannot handle. Like in mathematics, you may specialize in some topics. This is not the time for you to go to the hard topics that are difficult for you. If I cannot handle this topic, I'll brush through things which I'm able to do, so that in case it comes at the end of the day, I'm able to do, rather than going to things which you did not conceptualize from the beginning, and this remaining period is now when you think you will crack it. You cannot. So for the students, this is the time to brush through, just brush through, go through, remind yourself, and most important, have the courage to face it and tell yourself that you can. And whatever that you will be able to do, if it comes, then you face it.
MashaAllah. And I feel you've inspired me to go and do my exams. Can I sit an exam as well? Mwanamkasi, a similar question, and as the most recent graduates from university, just give your thoughts on preparation for an exam. You know, what are you doing the week before, KCSE, and also how it was for you in university.
With the little time given, I would say build on your strengths and try as much as possible to minimize the gap with your weaknesses. You know, if in my perspective or engineer's perspective, you know, you're good at math, so you would try your best to make sure that even on that day, the sciences and the math subjects are not a problem. And if we want as good as we were supposed to be in languages, do as much practice as you can. Because I believe, I don't know, like if it's 7 days, if you take 12 hours in a day, then multiply that by 7, you get enough hours. So those are actually.
So you can actually, you think you can start now and actually still do well?
You know, when you say start, I don't know if you mean
I don't mean start from one, but you know.
I believe, you know, you can make it. 7 days is a long time. Even when we're given projects, you know, 7 days is a long time. You know? So you can actually manage a lot of things in 7 days. Yeah, you can make a robot start moving in 7 days. So that's enough time. The same thing with campus. The notes are the same. Indulge in group studies in some things that you're not good at. You know, if I sit by myself and I'm not good at math, it's not helping me to sit by myself. So indulge with your fellow students, indulge your teachers who are available, your elder siblings, whoever who you think can help, do that. Yes.
Indulge, even ask questions now to them directly. Sheikh, I know I was going to ask him something, but fine, bismillah, go for it.
I just want to add something, and I think this is very important quotation for the students right now. They say that if you want to be successful, you must avoid 3 things. Number 1, avoid negative thoughts. And negative thoughts is what is now attacking the students. You know, like you know, if the students, like, they have these thoughts, if I try my best, I'll get a D-, a C+. You know, I'll fail in maths, in bio, in physics. Avoid all this. We are told that the Prophet, kana yuhibbu tafa'ul, the Prophet used to love to be positive. He used to love positivity. Kana yuhibbu. You see, and that is why when he saw Suhail during the pledge of Aqaba, you know, the peace treaty, when he saw Suhail, he said, Sahula amrakum. You know, your affair will be easy. Why? Because this guy is called Suhail, so everything will be sahal, will be easy. So that is how the Prophet was. And number 2, they say, avoid negative talk. Negative talk is like, now they are grading themselves and they have not even sat for that exam. I think I'll get a B+. I think I can get a C. I think if I try my best, I'll get a D+.
Yeah.
Now avoid negative talk.
Yeah. Even
You know,
after they've written the exam.
Avoid. You know, they said that, the Arabs, they said that al-bala wukila bil mantiq. That whatever disasters we face in life is because as a result of our tongues. We say bad things and they happen in our lives. That is why Allah said, Mathalu kalimatin tayyiba ka shajaratin tayyiba. An example of a good word is like a fruit tree, a good tree. It always gives good results. Wa mathalu kalimatin khabitha ka shajaratin khabitha. An example of a bad word is like a bad tree. It will always give you bad results. And the last one they say, avoid negative friends. Negative friends are those, you know, you're sharing with them ideas. You said, okay, I'll finish high school, then I get an A, then I do medicine. And they look at you like you're crazy, like, can you get an A? Really? You? Those are negative friends.
Yeah.
You see, so right now you should avoid them. You know, friends who say like, nobody has ever got an A here in this school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, nobody has ever got 450.
Yeah.
So these are bad friends. So avoid negative talk, negative thoughts, and negative talk.
Okay, and friends, yeah.
Always
Friends,
be
friends, thoughts, talk.
Friend, thoughts, talk.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Ahmed, what are you doing in yourself in the weekend? What do you have planned in terms of your revision, in terms of your studies? The advice is good to take breaks as well, you know, even once you start, don't stop stressing. But what are your plans for the next week?
Of course, you know, at this time, because it is not easy to start from square one to from A to Z. So the best thing is to have condensed mind, condense all your notes, put them together, read what you can. For example, take like 45 minutes of reading, make a 45 minutes of answering questions, then go to another topic, do a lot of questions, then read little, do a lot of questions. Because if you read a lot, you're going to strain yourself. Maybe you'll be reading for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, then after some time you're going to get, you've not reached somewhere far, but still you are not understanding anything. It's better you read small, do a lot of practice, a lot of questions. Of course, to add on the same, because this is now 7 days. 7 days not a long time as many people will think, because at the same time there is time for sleeping, there is time for eating. All this considered, 7 days is very short time. And but I don't say that to pull you back, but to propel you, to make you
push harder.
Use this time. There's limited time to do a lot of work, a lot of questions, a lot of engagement with teachers, with students who know more than you. Of course, we depend on. In fact, most of this, I learned most of the concept from my fellow students than the teachers.
Okay.
And in fact, you can learn from the student who is below you, who in fact is below average, maybe. Don't despise people. Don't say I cannot learn from this person. If you have any quiz, any problem with your, with any concept, any question, approach your teacher. If there's a group discussion, have it then.
Okay.
Most of your time should be in your library.
Okay.
If you get it, if you get the time and the energy and maybe financial, any fund or money, you should keep yourself in the library. Of course, it is a place where books are there, and you're not going to strain looking for what the books. You have them, the condensed notes, go through them, questions, do them a lot, teachers, engage with them, students, never despise, learn from every person. Al-ilmu bayna al-tullab.
I'm a little confused right now because I feel like you're giving all of us advice, you know, mashallah. You do seem prepared, inshallah. You do seem prepared. Which subjects are you doing, by the way?
I'm taking the 3 sciences, 3 languages.
3 languages?
English, Swahili, and Arabic.
Wow, okay.
And of course, 3 sciences and a religion. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. MashaAllah. So 3 sciences is physics, chemistry,
And
biology, mathematics.
Yeah, mathematics is
Then English, Swahili. Wow, MashaAllah. That is. Well, Allah make it easy for you. Which subject are you most worried about? Because I think this is also a time we can do a very quick tutoring. So don't look at Sheikh Abu Najma like this. MashaAllah, he can handle questions. We have an engineer there. We have our mathematician as well in the corner. So what are you worried about? And not just you, but now I'm talking of like your whole school. What's that subject that everybody's like, hey, this one, it's coming, we're in trouble?
Of course, from the trend of last year's exam and this year the same, and the year before, that's 2015, 2016, and 2017.
Yeah.
The trend show that there's a fail in biology, and most of us in this school, in my school, and the schools around, of course, Mainawangigi, Islay High School, and some other private schools also.
Yeah.
They feel like the 3 science subjects are so much of application this time.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the things now most people fear. And they say now, you know, biology last year it was application. This time round, maybe chemistry or physics will going to be application.
Okay.
So they have that fear.
Okay, we're going for a break, and I'll give Mwanamkasi that time to think of how to handle application questions, because as an engineer, engineer is all about applying, you know. So we're going for a quick break. We're going to come back with a few more tips, and also what are we doing next? What happens after the exams? Sometimes you have 7 months, you have almost a year. You have a few months. What do you do in that time? What do you do immediately after exams before the results come out? How do you deal with results? All of that, inshallah. We're going for a short break. Stay on the NexGen Show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the NexGen Show. Voice for the youth, voice for all of you at home. Because I believe deep down, we all have a bit of youth within us. And Sheikh is smiling at that one. He's really excited to hear that. Yes. MashaAllah. Sheikh, before the break, we're actually just chatting a little bit about the positivity, and we'll recap that at the end. However, sorry, during the break, we're talking about that. Before the break, though, Mwanamkasi, we gave you a question. How do we deal with application questions, whether it's in the sciences or whatever? Just how do we deal with them and answering?
First, I would say you have to read the question enough times. Enough, it depends the level of understanding. For some, you need to read it twice to get it, some once, some 6 times. So just read it enough times to understand the question, because that is the point where you don't want to miss anything and you don't want to mistake anything. Then what I would do, as we were discussing during the break, is like separate the variables, because most of the time application question will be asked, how is this or this integrated to find this, right? So separate the variables, make sure you get the right variables. X is X, Y is Y, and Z is Z.
Sheikh, remember these things? Integrated variables.
You
Yes.
know, I forgot those things in 1994.
Even with probability questions, statistics, you have to separate the variables and understand the questions. After that, integrating to understand the question is not hard.
Okay.
Yes. And that is how you find.
So just break it down.
Or you can just use simple examples. Like you've understood the question, then ask yourself, like those relative questions. If Anne was the nephew or the niece of someone, break it down to basic example that you would understand. Use yourself or use, a simple scenario. Yes, for applications.
Ah, that's interesting. I never really thought of personalizing it like that, you know. Remove Anne and put me in. Okay.
Yes.
Very, 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 very nice. We wanted to, Ahmed, give it back to you very, very quickly, because again, it's about you. And I just, because you're representing, again, we've said this before, you're sort of talking on behalf, you're the Khalifa or the speaker for all the candidates out there. Are people excited, or is the mood worse? When you joined from one, Matiangi was, and he's no longer the cabinet secretary, by the way, Honorable CS Matiangi, now Interior. But when you joined, he was not the CS of Education. And then he became Education halfway through. The CS of Education, now he's no longer there. Has that dampened people's mood? Is there generally a feeling of negativity because we're still suffering from the effects of the policies he put in place?
Yeah, of course, there are some, those policies, they do affect, and they did affect. You know, as I do those engagement with my friends, some of them, they say, you know, this man has done this and that. Of course, there are many positive aspects of the man, Mr. Matiangi. He has he has done a lot in the education sector for the time he was the CS for education. And of course, we should appreciate him for that. At the same time, the changes which took place in the examination system should also be considered. You know, a student, and at a point like this, there are scenarios, there are different people. For example, there are people maybe with no books. Of course, now he did bring books. But there are people also at the same time who are living in a situation which is not conducive for learning.
Right.
I'm not only speaking about Nairobi residents students, but also on behalf of those students like in Garissa and Mandera, Marakwet, or those around in the Kenya. You know, we are a student, but we are also students in the whole country. So regardless of, you should consider all these aspects. Bringing questions, okay, there are some questions, and the way they are marked as we were taught this year, there's a lot of changes.
Okay.
A very small mistake, you have it down. And that's why I think the number of A's reduced from number of thousands to a
to
very
100, 200 people, 100 people.
Yeah, it is not it is not that it is people say this thing is crazy. How come a school which used to produce hundreds of people, hundreds of A's, is now no longer produce any? Of course, it is true. It is in a very true and true grade of that person. Though there are some things which are maybe done in the marking,
Okay.
And I suggest maybe. You know, yesterday I sat with my sisters and I said, instead of having a national exam like KCSE and KCPE, it will have been better the exams which the student does throughout his life from the beginning of the year, be averaged, and that person gets his average grade and go to the next level. That's what I had in mind. But although this also no problem, it is.
No, I like that idea. I think Honorable CS Amina, if you're watching, please take it up, because I think it is a good idea. That's what actually happens even in university. It's cumulative.
Yeah.
It's not just in the new system. It will be. Sorry, you've already taken it up. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put pressure.
You know, there is also the manhaj of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whereby فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ وَمَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُم. That, you only succeed and go to Jannah after all your deeds have been, So I think
total. It's not just one thing.
You need to do education, stop medicine, and give us those ideas.
Mwalimu, he spoke of marking, and there's the marking period, although it's a lot faster these days for students. In the past it was, you wait till February or whatever. Now, results are coming soon. But what should students be doing during that period? From when they've written exams to when the results come out. It's what do they do to keep themselves busy? Should they now relax leave books for a few weeks, or do you still keep up with something?
Okay. Once somebody has done an exam, for this case, those who are doing KCSE exam is an entry into their career courses. And once somebody has done the exam, of course, he waits for the results, which comes, does not take long nowadays. It comes after a few days. The results are out. This is the period for somebody to sit down and think of what they are going to do. What if I don't get an A? What can I do? And if I get that A, what will I do? This is the period for one to keep himself busy, because you can have that A and you are spoiled in drugs. During this short period of idling, someone can get into unnecessary things which will make his life, mess up his life. So this is the time for somebody to look at himself, reflect at himself, and look at what am I going to do after the results are out.
Okay.
Okay.
Mwanamkasi, what did you do during your work? We're putting you on the spot. If it's something bad, tell us, then we'll cut and resume after.
The fact that I used to study a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, when I was in school, as he used to say, okay, I didn't start from Form 1, you know, but I started like maybe in Form 2, where I used to self-teach myself because I was transitioning between schools.
Okay.
Then I would, you know, I really loved, I gained focus to say after my first year Form 1 experience. So I used to study a lot all the way from Form 2, Form 3, Form 4. So when I was done, I took a break, like a month break, just to, you know, to relax. Because let's be honest, that was a lot of studying. Then afterwards, I got a job. I volunteered. I started with volunteering before I got the job at MEWA, Muslim Education and Welfare Association in Mombasa. So we used to, you know, the basic office work, computer literacy, and then we also used to do Muslim camps for the youths, those who are in high school. So if you can join some of these camps, if you can start off by volunteering or doing a job, doing the basic computer literacy, if you want to get into technology, there's a lot. Plus these days, this century, we have a lot of information on social media. So you can just go on board, do courses, do searches of what you might be interested in. Of course, if you're studying a lot, start with a break to give yourself, you know.
A little, and then come back.
Yeah, to rejuvenate.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's important, and I would actually even add to that is one thing I really wish I did after was just study a bit more. You have time, you can actually do Arabic, basic Arabic if you haven't learned that.
Yeah.
You can memorize a few juz of the Quran. You can actually keep yourself busy, and you find by the time you're going to university, you feel you haven't wasted time. And of course, last week's episode, if you remember, we spoke about, and Sheikh Abu Najma was there, business as well. You can do something small. You know, we had the online ones we talked about. Look at it, Ajira Digital.go.ke, the Upworks, the Fibers, etc. You can start something. He gave tips. You know, something we can do. I jumped to what we're doing after the exams, Sheikh Abu Najma, and I'll come to that. But during the exam itself, he's going to do that paper, that mathematics paper. Is there any dua that we can do? I remember something that I wish I had been doing more often, even in university, was before every single class, it's Rabbi zidni ilma, you know, so that you're coming in and you're knowing that knowledge is from Allah. But now you're doing the exams, maybe you forgot, or somebody, you forget, is there a dua we can make before
that's a good question. Number one, I advise all students to take their ablution, make your wudu properly, because the wudu will keep shaitan away from you. Al-waswas al-khannas, the one who whispers in our souls. You know, make wudu, and that's very powerful if they make wudu. Number two, reciting Falak, Nas and Ikhlas 3 times. Number 3, as they sit for the examination, and during those days, they increase their istighfar. Ibn Taymiyyah says that he was a great scholar of 7th century. He says that sometimes I used to read books and I could not understand anything. But he says I used to go to the desert and make istighfar 1,000 times, and Allah used to open up my brain. And if you want to know who Ibn Taymiyyah is, go and read his books and his fatah, and you'll see that guy was a giant when it comes to Islamic, you know. So making a lot of istighfar. And the last one here, but not the least, when you sit down for exam, you start the exam in the name of Allah. Innahu min Sulaiman wa innahu bismillahir rahmanir rahim. You know, Nabi Sulaiman, when he started writing, he started it in the name of Allah. And there's a hadith which says that anything which will not start with the name of Allah, then the barakah will be
It's not there, basically.
The barakah will not be there. So you sit down and start Bismillah. You don't write Bismillah on Kenyan examination paper.
I used to do that,
But
by
you
the
say
way.
it.
In my Form 5 exam. I wrote it on top in Arabic.
Yes.
I learned it from my brother. He would do it in every term exam. He would write Bismillah.
Yeah.
So you start to do it, and then we were told, okay, those exams you don't know what they're going to do with them, so just say it in your head for the final exam at least.
Last but not the least, please, once you finish that exam, don't discuss it. Don't discuss, like Harun will tell you, like the primary students, answer your maths, was it A or B or C? Answer social study, was it C or D? Because the Prophet said, Rufiat al-aklam wa jaffat al-suhuf. The pen has been lifted and the ink has dried. So there is no need of Waswahili wanasema kwamba maji yakimwagika zoleki, the area, the coast people.
Maybe just give a translation for our brother Ahmed. Maybe he didn't understand that one.
Yeah.
On behalf. What does that one mean? That's a translation.
Yeah.
Translation. How do we do this? Once
the water has been poured.
Yeah. Once the water spills,
It can never be recovered.
it can never be recovered.
Exactly.
Okay.
But there is no need.
Yeah. Plus, just to add on to him, as we used to do a lot of sunnah prayers.
MashaAllah, good.
Those ones, they come in handy, like a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, during that period, because you take some time when you're thinking of, okay, I'm done studying, like I feel like I've studied a lot, what should I do now? Just go take wudu and do a sunnah prayer.
And you make your dua in sujud.
Yes.
And especially Qiyamul Layl, praying Fajr in Jama'ah, reading Quran.
Okay.
And during that exam, don't, come in groups and start talking.
Yeah.
Avoid that. Be alone and go spiritual.
A question. We know the hadith of the gentleman who had killed 99 people.
The power of positivity. I was coming to that hadith, mashallah. I think our network is Safaricom.
5G, mashallah, within the studios.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You see.
Okay, I'll let that be your final word. So just hold on to it, and then you can close the program off with that, inshallah. There's so much I wanted to ask. What do we do, Mwalimu, the night before an exam? The exam is the next day. Should they still be studying heavily? Do they now relax, just get a good night's rest? What would you advise?
Of course, during the exam period, this is not a period to relax, but at the same time, it's not a period to overwork yourself. Don't read up to 2 a.m. in the night to go and face a paper. It's just brush through, go through, so that you don't spoil yourself. You might read up to 2 a.m. and tomorrow morning you are unable to do that paper. So you need to give yourself time. And also don't do things that you've not been doing. Things that you've never been reading up to 2 a.m. You've never been reading up to 11 p.m. Don't read up to that time.
Don't start it now.
Do the way you've been doing.
Okay.
To add on that, the night before exams is a night you should prepare your items.
Wait, I want to ask, are you talking from experience of KCSE exams or?
KCPE exam.
Okay, Bismillah, continue.
Yeah. The night you should prepare all the things you need the following day. So that at least when you go to school, you don't get confused. Because some students, when we are in class, is when you don't have set, or maybe you've forgotten setting them at home. Is then now
you go to sleep, your clothes are ironed, your pens and pencils,
everything ready. Then that is what you normally need to do before any exam in the morning.
Okay, mashallah. Sheikh, I wanted to give you more time, but Sheikh, just find very quickly. You know how we like to keep it short. You can wind us off with a final statement, inshallah.
Wallahi, I'm just insisting on positivity and the power of it. You remember that guy you are saying he killed 99 people? He actually killed 100 people, plus one worshipper. Yeah. But just imagine that guy, if he would have given up, he would have said, no, I'm going to Jahannam now, it's the end. But look at the power of positivity. This guy, despite all these sins and, whatever he did, but he was very positive that still he would succeed, and he succeeded. And the guy right now, he's in Jannah, and he's one of the people who will go to Jannah. And that shows you that the power of positive. Even the woman who bought Yusuf, the husband who bought Yusuf said to the wife, Asa an yanfa'ana, he's going to benefit us. The wife of Fir'aun, what did she say? The same words. Asa yanfa'ana aw natakhidahu waladan. You know. So saying good words, having a positive mind, you know, right now they need to be positive that I'll pass. Even say it. You know, I'll pass. I'll make it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
10 seconds.
To add on what Sheikh has said, avoid distractions. Let not somebody come to you telling you that I have this. You know, this question is the one coming. Avoid that. It's going to confuse you.
Yeah, cheating.
Yes.
Sheikh, I've been told that I need to take the mic now so that we can end the program. Otherwise, you won't. You always give us advice.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So I'm going to end the program here right now with the mic. Sorry, Sheikh, I just took it so that, you know, people know it's over. But wallahi, may Allah reward all of you for coming today.
Amen.
And also, may you make it easy for our candidates. Maybe, Sheikh, you do if I give you a dua, will you keep it short? One line dua, just a dua for all the candidates.
Yeah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all our Muslim candidates do well in the examinations. Ameen.
Jazakallah khair, jazakumullah khair for all of you. Thank you for coming. Ahmed, all the best. All of you at home, all the best. Remember, you can reach out to us on Facebook, Horizon TV Kenya. Twitter, Horizon TV _Kenya. Instagram as well. We are on Instagram, Horizon TV Kenya. Same name. SMS 40497. It'll appear here. Right now, when we record, it's not here, but magically on your screens, somewhere here. 40497. Send us your feedback. Send us your comments. We will respond. We will reach out to you. We will get back to you. And we love to hear from all of you. This has been the NexGen Show. Voice for the Youth. See you next week. Same time, same place. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.